If you're dreaming of owning a vacation home that pays for itself, there's one thing you can't ignore: regulations. On today's episode, we're tackling this hot topic. I'll show you exactly where to look to see if rules exist, what they mean for your purchase, and how to monitor trends and attitudes shaping the regulations of tomorrow. What if your 401k came with a fire pit and a lake view? That's the question that inspired it all. I'm Katie Klein, and living in New York City meant buying a home felt impossible. So I decided to flip the script and buy my second home first. When I'm not there, it doubles as a short-term rental, covering its costs, building equity, and even turning a profit. And best of all, it gives me a place to vacation for free. What 401k can do that? Every week, join me as we hear from real people who've done the same and experts who can help you do it too. If you thought owning any home, let alone a second one, was out of reach, this is the show for you. This is Second Home First. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Second Home First. I'm your host, Katie Klein, and I am so excited to be here with you all today. So from past episodes, you probably now know who you are as a future vacation home owner, what your dream home looks like, and hopefully where it's located. Now it's important to talk about the elephant in the room: regulations. And if your eyes are starting to glaze over, I totally get it. This is by far not the sexiest topic when it comes to vacation home ownership, but it is such a crucial topic to talk about because we want to make sure that your home, your investment, is legally able to be rented out. That is the crux of this strategy. And this episode is here to teach you exactly how to figure that out. I'm going to walk you through everything today, but I strongly encourage you to visit my website, buyyoursecondhomefirst.com/resources, because there you can download the due diligence checklist and the due diligence worksheet. Once again, that's buyyoursecondhomefirst.com/resources. And that's buy like BUY. But before we go any further, we're going to take a super quick break for a word from our sponsors. Interior design is one of my favorite parts of buying a second home. I love creating a beautiful space. But let's be honest, staying on budget, managing orders, tracking deliveries, and juggling countless retailers can get overwhelming fast, which is why so many hosts turn to Minoan. With Minoan, you can shop more than 180 brands you love all in one place. That's brands like Crate and Barrel, Samsung, Anthropologie, Article, Casper, and so many more. They give you access to better than trade pricing, something typically reserved for professional designers, allowing you to save on every purchase. They keep every order, delivery, and receipt organized in one clean dashboard. And the best part, there's no membership fee, no subscription, no catch, just a streamlined approach with big savings. Once your second home is set up, Minoan can even make it shoppable. Your place basically becomes a four-walled influencer. So after guests spend a weekend obsessing over your couch or those sheets or that coffee maker, they can scan your QR code and order the exact same item for their own home. You earn a commission, no extra work required. To furnish smarter, visit minoan.com/secondhome to sign up and receive a free $25 in credit. Finding the right cleaning team has been absolutely crucial to the success of my second homes. They're my eyes and ears on the property when I'm not there, spotting issues early, keeping standards high, and helping me wow guests time and again. But finding someone local you actually trust? That wasn't always easy until I found Turno. Turno connects you with vetted cleaners who understand the demands of short-term rentals in your specific market. Their app makes everything simple, from auto-scheduling your cleans to photo and video checklists that ensure your property looks exactly the way you want, and even automatic payments after each clean is completed. Click the link in the show notes to check out Turno and get $25 off your first cleaning. And now back to the show. So, where do we even begin? Well, regulations live in a hierarchy. Depending upon where you buy, you might have to answer to some or all of the following entities: a village, a township or a city, a county, a state, and a country. So, step one, you need to figure out who is in charge. If you go back to your short list of destinations, then pull up your favorite home searching site, whether that be Zillow, or Trulia, Redfin, and put your destination in there. I want you to grab a few addresses of places that are currently for sale in the area. And then you're going to go to the US Census Bureau's geocoder website. I'm going to link that in the show notes for you. On that site, you want to go to stateside parsed address processing, which is under find geographies. And yes, that is a mouthful, desperately in need of a rebrand, but is a free website and an accurate one. So we're going to let that slide. Pop in one of those addresses that you grabbed from Zillow or Trulia or Redfin at a time and take a look at what comes up in your results. You are specifically looking for first the township or the city, and that's going to be under county subdivisions. You're also looking for if there's a village, that's going to be under incorporated places. County, of course, is going to be under counties and state under states. Those are a bit more obvious. Now, step two, we want to check the local laws for those municipalities. So, how do we do that? Well, first, let's just start by Googling it or even asking ChatGPT. I like to start with the smallest municipality first and then work my way outward. So, village, then township or city, county, state, country. You want to search something like short term rental regulations in insert municipality name here. And you want to see what pops up. You might get your answer straight away, or you might need to continue to refine your search terms and click on certain links. But this is going to help start giving us an answer of what those regulations look like. Now, one pro tip I want to give you in this step is make sure you are looking at the correct town. When I first started searching for short term rental regulations in Lodi, New York, I kept getting answers for Lodi, New Jersey and Lodi, California. So this might seem obvious, but make sure you are looking at the correct town. Second tip is check the official website. Now, most likely your search results at some point or another have pointed you here. On this website, you can often find short term rental ordinances, permit application rules. You can even find frequently asked questions about short term regulations on some town, village, county websites. And if you're not seeing a place for that right away, do a quick control F search, a find search, to look for terms like short term rental, STR, Airbnb, and that might help to point you in the right direction. A pro tip here is meeting minutes can be a wealth of knowledge. Most towns, cities, villages, counties archive meeting minutes online. And you can find here motions, failed rulings, general discussions, things that are also going to give you insight into overall community sentiment. Now, third, we want to pick up the phone. We want to call that office directly. And when someone answers, you might want to say something along the lines of, "Hi, I'm considering purchasing a home in insert town name here, and I might want to rent it out on websites like Airbnb and Verbo when I'm not there. I wanted to find out if you had any short term rental regulations. Would you be able to connect me with the right person to talk about that?" Most likely, your call is going to be routed to zoning, planning, or building. But in many small towns, they don't have those departments. So, either way, hopefully, by asking that question, that's going to point you in the right direction. And once you're connected to the right person, you want to get as much information as you can. Don't just ask what's legal today, but ask other questions that are going to give you insight into the future. Are there any changes being discussed? What's the community sentiment towards short term rentals? You want to know, do they see this as an economic driver, a nuisance, or something in between? Is there a cap on or a wait list for permits? Can permits transfer from one owner to the next? If I submit all of my permit documents correctly, is there any reason I might be declined? And a pro tip here is Remember, you are only speaking to one person, so their opinions on sentiment by no means should be taken as gospel. This is just another helpful clue helping you piece together a larger picture. Next, you want to check press coverage, and this might have come up in your Google search, but if it didn't, click on that news tab in Google. You want to look for coverage of proposed regulations that failed to pass, or protests from neighbors, or anything else that's making headlines. And a pro tip here, set up a Google alert. Put in town name plus short term rental in quotation marks, and you'll get notified of any future developments that come up with this. Next, you want to talk to local owners and property managers. And you might be thinking, how could I do that? I don't know anyone in the area. I get that. But intel from people on the ground is going to be crucial. So, some ways that you can find them could be through Facebook groups, Airbnb's co host network, or local short term rental management companies. If you search short term rental management in whatever town name you have and you make some calls, those conversations could reveal the real sentiment in a way that City Hall never could. Another pro tip here is that more advanced short term rental owners might operate direct booking websites. You can often find these by searching short term rental in town name or places to stay in town name, and then you could use their contact form to reach out to them directly. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. When I was finally ready to rent out my vacation home, I had no idea what to charge guests. Thankfully, that's when I found Price Labs, a dynamic pricing tool that helps me automate pricing like a pro. It's simple. Price Labs uses real time data to automatically adjust my rates based on local demand, nearby events, and booking trends. It's easy to use, lets me set my own minimum and maximum prices, and keeps my pricing smart and competitive without any manual work. If you want your vacation home to pay for itself or even turn a profit, you need Price Labs to help you get the most from every booking. Visit the link in the show notes and enter code SECONDHOMEFIRST, all one word, for a 30-day free trial plus $10 off your first invoice. If you're listening to this show, I know making memories with family and friends is super important to you. And that's why I'm excited to introduce you to Flightographer. Flightographer connects travelers with local photographers in more than 350 destinations around the world. But it's more than just a photo shoot. It's a way to capture meaningful memories and experience a place through a local's lens. When I look back on past Flightographer photo shoots I've done, I don't just see pictures, but special moments preserved. I remember the feeling of that day and the story behind every shot. Whether you're celebrating a milestone birthday, a family vacation, or a special getaway to your second home, Flightographer is there to capture the moments you never want to forget. To book your own Flightographer shoot, visit the link in the show notes and use code SHF25. That's S as in second, H as in home, F as in first, 25 to get $25 off your first shoot. You finally bought your dream vacation home. Now what? Your goal is for it to pay for itself, but between managing bookings, guest messages, and cleaners, it can feel like a full time job. That's where Logify comes in. Logify is a comprehensive vacation rental platform that makes it easy to manage and market your second home, even if you're just getting started. From syncing your calendar across Airbnb, Vrbo, and Booking.com to automating payments and guest communication, Logify simplifies it all. It's built for beginners and comes with free one-on-one onboarding to help you get up and running fast. To make your second home start working for you, visit the link in the show notes and use code SHF20, that's S as in second, H as in home, F as in first, 20, to receive an additional 20% off their yearly and bi-yearly plans. And now back to the show. Now, let's move on to step 3. This is all about permits. Most commonly, at least one of the municipalities that oversees your address is going to require a short term rental permit. There is typically a really clear set of criteria that's outlined into what you need to do to apply for that short term rental permit. Depending on your location, you might need to submit an application form. an application fee, which could be a one-time fee, an annual fee, or set at another cadence. For example, my property in Lake George, we have to reapply every 3 years and repay every 3 years. You want to have a copy of your deed or another document showing ownership on hand, proof of insurance of the property, a site plan, which sometimes a quick amateur sketch will suffice, copy of your advertising materials, which can be a printout of your Airbnb listing. Sometimes you'll need a certificate of authority to collect tax. We're going to talk about that more in a minute. And you might also be required to complete, pass, or agree to fire and safety inspections, occupancy limits. This is often 2 people per bedroom, sometimes plus 2 additional people. Parking requirements. Places often require 1 to 2 off street spaces per bedroom, and to provide guests with a copy of the area's rules. Now, of course, a lot of this is going to be really important down the line when you actually own a property and you're ready to get out there and list. But understanding what you're going to need in order to get permitted is really, really important. Finally, you really want to pay close attention to what you need to do once your permit is approved. Typically, you need to display this permit potentially inside of your home, inside of your rental, might even be on your Airbnb listing or Verbo listing. And you also want to pay attention to when it expires because an out of date permit is the fastest way to get a shutdown rental. Moving on to step 4, this is about occupancy and sales tax. Occupancy tax is often called bed tax. This is a per night tax that's charged to the guest that goes directly to the local government, typically the county. Depending on your location, one, some, or all of the municipalities may require you to collect it, which means charge the guest, and remit it, send it to the municipality. Every jurisdiction has their own rules, their own processes, their own procedures. Most are fairly straightforward, especially now that you know where to look. But if you're interested in buying someplace that requires manual paperwork and you don't want to be bothered doing it, that's when you can think about hiring a co host or a management company who can take that on for you. I'll give you an example. For my place in Lake George, that is located in Warren County, which requires occupancy tax to be collected and remitted. It's a quick setting on Airbnb and Verbo. It charges the guests, and that gets put into my bank account. I have selected to remit or send my tax to Warren County once a quarter. I like it because it keeps me on top of it. You could do it annually. It depends on the municipality, but often you have an option to choose when you remit it. And once a quarter, I have to tell Warren County how much money I made that quarter and then remit the corresponding amount of occupancy tax to them. That is currently a really manual process. I have to print out a form and fill it out and mail in a physical check. So, again, if you wanted to have a management company or a co host, that's something that they could potentially do for you. Now, the OTAs, online travel agencies like Airbnb and Verbo, are getting more and more advanced with this every single day. A good example here is New York State charges a sales tax now on all short term rental bookings. So instead of that being a pass through tax like it is in Warren County, meaning the guest is charged, I am given that money and I give that money to Warren County. Airbnb is now doing that immediately. So they are collecting the tax from the guest and they are sending that to New York State. I never have to be involved. I think that's the way more and more things are moving. Time will tell, I suppose. So, in summary, are regulations glamorous? Absolutely not. Are they intimidating? Possibly, but hopefully less so after listening to this episode. Knowing where to look and how to decipher the rules will be the difference between owning a vacation home that pays for itself and one that becomes a very expensive hobby. I've created a due diligence checklist and a due diligence worksheet, both free and linked in the show notes to help guide you through the entire research process step by step. So click those links, download your worksheets, and start getting the answers you need to move forward with confidence. You're doing the work now so that future you gets to sit by that fire pit, sip that coffee or cocktail, look out the view, and think, wow, I actually did this. Thanks for listening to Second Home First.
If you liked what you heard today, be sure to sign up for my free weekly newsletter at buyyoursecondhomefirst.com, where I share the simple 4-step strategy to help you do the same. If you have a minute to subscribe, rate, or review the show, or even send a favorite episode to a friend, that would mean the absolute world to me. And if you want to be a guest on the show, have a question you want answered, or a topic you think I should cover, send me a note at hello@buyyoursecondhomefirst.com or on social media at buyyoursecondhomefirst. I personally read and respond to every single message. Once again, I'm your host, Katie Klein, and I can't wait to see you all again next week. The content shared on Second Home First is for educational and informational purposes only. Please consult a licensed financial advisor before making any investment or financial decisions.